So the Apple Vision Pro promises some world-changing tech, but it's also the most dangerous thing Apple and maybe even any tech company has ever created. And I'm going to tell you why. I'm Chris Grant Jr. It's the Granite Geek Show. So with people finally getting their hands on Apple's new VR headset, the Vision Pro, we have legitimately stepped into the future. Now, of course, other VR headsets have been invented, but there's something about when Apple takes on a product category that legitimizes it. They make very few products compared to many other tech companies, and so when they do dive into a new category, it means that they believe in it. Now, I don't have to tell you how cool the Apple Vision Pro is. It's, like I said, many people have their hands on it. They've made reviews showcasing all of its features and amazing experiences that you can have with the headset. But what I'm going to do, as I do in really all of my videos, is dive below the surface, look underneath to see what's really going on here. Now, let me preface the video by saying humans are not animals. We don't just operate purely on instinct, and that is why it is so invaluable that we carefully calculate every step that we take before we take it, especially ones as big as immersing the masses into a virtual reality. Just as Oppenheimer introduced the world to previously unimaginable levels of physical destruction, I believe that Apple's VR headset could do similar damage to the human soul. So let's start with what is real. Now, of course, the Apple Vision Pro is a first-generation product. It has many flaws, it has yet to be fully optimized and really blur the line between virtual and reality. But it's not that the headset introduces the world to this kind of tech, but it legitimizes it for the masses. And over time, through iterations of the Apple Vision Pro, we will see a blurring of the line between what's real and what's not. And that's where humans get really, really funny. Now, we've seen it in countless sci-fi movies like Ready Player One. What happens when the virtual world becomes a better and more fulfilling experience than the physical, real world? Disney even introduced an omnidirectional, basically floor mat. The thing looked very thin, and with it, you'd be able to traverse a completely virtual world in any direction. Now, pair that with something like the VR headset, and now you can be, see, and go places that were previously not even possible for all of human history. So the issue here is going to come down to what you can be and what you can see. Now, the Vision Pro already generates these strange uncanny valley type virtual mock-ups of people's faces when they're interacting via FaceTime, because obviously there's not a camera far away looking at your real face. Where it's going to get dangerous is not that they're trying to look more real, but that you could manipulate that to look like anything you wanted to look like. In other words, you can be anything you want to be. And as where some people would see this as a triumph, allowing humans various opportunities to express themselves, what you can also do is you can lose yourself. When you've tried on so many different faces, you've forgotten what you look like. When you've been part of and done so many different things, looking like so many different versions of yourself, that you've lost who you are, truly. On a fundamental level, I don't think it's right for humans to put on and put off identities as we would a hat or a jacket. Now, this would be dangerous enough for full-grown adults, but now think about what that's going to do to a young mind whose brain is still developing, because they can be anyone, and that means they will ultimately be no one at all. Now, speaking of young minds, let's go ahead and segue into AC or IC, inappropriate content that we wouldn't want young people having access to, or really anybody for that matter. It's just not good for your brain. So didn't we just recently see Mark Zuckerberg apologizing to families who were victimized by the types of content that platforms like Instagram were offering up, serving up, and allowing users of who knows what age, any age range really, to access and see? Now, what happens when that's all in a virtual world, meaning no one can see what these young people are up to? You can't see what they're doing, who they're around. You can't see what they are or how they've chosen to display themselves. This is a dangerous amount of freedom, and I know that probably triggered a lot of people. Freedom? You can never have too much freedom. Okay, but with great power comes great responsibility. There's a reason why parents are in charge. There's a reason why guardians are in charge, even by the law. It's because young minds have been shown time and time again to be impulsive, to be immature, and sure, there are adults who act the same way, but at least the young person has an excuse that their brain is literally not fully developed. So that if they do make those same kind of mistakes, they've had their time and their chance to mature and have a choice in what kind of content they put in front of them, versus it just being served up because of algorithms and hashtags. Mark my words, this is a Pandora's box. We have been given immense power, introduced to immense power, just like with AI. And we have no real rules for it yet, no laws for it yet. In terms of what is ethical, once again, we're not animals. We cannot just act on instinct because it is possible, therefore we must do it. Because there's a cliff edge, we must jump. We have to weigh the consequences, especially with technologies as powerful as Apple's Vision Pro. So let me know, of course, as always, down in the comments what you think of this entire dilemma. I'd love to hear your thoughts and we'll chat it up. Also, you know it's YouTube, so subscribe, click the like button and the bell so that you can be notified when I drop new content just like this. Stay tuned. I'm Chris Grant Jr. It's the Granite Geek Show.